Happy full moon in Capricorn. This has been a potent week. Have you felt it? All the movement from Venus and these big planets going retrograde. And here we are at the full moon in Capricorn. So let's break this down. The moon is at 18 degrees, and that is an action-orientated degree because it's an Aries degree at its core. And it's inviting us to take productive action through self-love and honoring our feelings, deciding something that is obviously not meant to be or needs to go, clear the deck so that you can make room for where your soul is taking you. This Cancer Capricorn axis is the sacred dance between nurturing and responsibility, between the inner child and the elder, the wise one inside, between the womb and the spine. Cancer says, feel me, right? And Capricorn says, show me. That's why they're opposites. But when they work together, it's beautiful because we feel the truth. We feel the illumination of our life. We feel what the cosmos are trying to tell us. And then we take meaningful actions. We show up. We get that show me energy going. So this full moon spotlights emotional maturity, soul purpose, and building a life that honors both our inner needs and our outer calling. This is one of the hardest things to balance sometimes, yeah? You know, sometimes the sensitive heart, the frequency of the womb, the knowing of the soul is in contrast or not in vibrational harmony with what the outer world of our lives is calling for. But I think sometimes that is only a delusion because we are masked in doubt and fear. And that's why we do Kundalini Yoga, is to use that as a polishing agent, as a sandpaper to the denser type of vibration so that they can get out of the way, so that we can clearly see that what the soul knows is destined to vibrate and manifest in our outer world. The sun is also, this is so awesome, the sun it's in Cancer is squaring Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So there is this T-square. Even though there's a lot of degrees apart, there is a lot of cardinal energy calling for us to take spiritual responsibility. Saturn in Aries, it's challenging us to commit to our spiritual path with courage. With courage. And Neptune, it's dissolving the ego constructs around identity because Neptune's the God code, right? And Aries is the ego. And we are being given the space for a higher vision for ourselves. So the ego doesn't have to be edging God out. It doesn't have to be this bad 3-letter word. Instead, it could be exciting God opportunities. That is really the destiny of the ego. The ego is being placed in a different place in life. We let it be like, oh, that's not who I really am, and blah, blah, blah. You know, even your soul has a personality. If you're going to look at the spiritual anatomy, I've said this, I can't stress this enough. Soul energy is in the body, and therefore it is enamored by the thoughts and the actions that this humanness of you is taking. So the soul has a personality. And that personality is in relationship with the mind, the brain, the ego personality that was constructed by all of the input from your environment in your childhood years. Now, as a spiritual awakened being, you are bringing together now the soul and the ego. Now, the soul is not without fear. It is not without some of the more dense types of energies. But it is the God force, and it is singular, and it has the capacity to be more neutral because it wasn't created in this 2-hemisphere mind, right? And the other part of this is that the soul has an additional part of it. It's almost like a soul monad. There's more pieces to it. The other piece sometimes is referred to as spirit or the higher self. And that is the part of soul, spirit, higher self, that dwells out of the body. And this is why Kundalini is so important, because when we stimulate the pineal, we now send up an electrical charge and we are engaged in this part of our intelligence, our spiritual knowing. And this part of the soul, the higher self, the spirit, is not enamored by our emotions or our history. It is completely clear of that. So if you were to see this part of you, it would look like you, but it is fearless. It is eternal. It isn't under the constructs that we sometimes get ourselves in through a lifetime. And in the end, this is that when the Trinity happens, when the soul and the ego marry each other and come into harmony and begin working together, now you have full access to that third energy all the time. And that changes everything, because the higher self has an advantage point of looking at you, down at you and your world around you. It's more of a clear picture. It sees how your interactions is creating your world, and it can feed you wisdom and healing based on that. And so that's why with this amazing full moon event, it is calling for our soul purpose to be reworked. It's calling for us to take spiritual responsibility, and it's calling for an upgrade. The lesson is we must feel to heal, Cancer, but we must act with integrity, Saturn and Aries, and surrender control, Neptune, to the divine flow. And this is where Kundalini Yoga comes in handy, yeah? This is where doing a practice helps us access this energy. We want to have a real meaningful awakening today. That's why you got to come to class online or in person, 6:30 tonight, Thursday, the full moon. So what will happen is the Kundalini in the full moon will offer structure for the mystical. Kundalini in its nature is very Saturn-like. It's the essence of Capricorn, loving practices of discipline. Kundalini Kriyas provide this. It will activate our nervous system and our glandular system and bring this sweet harmony between the ego and the soul, so that we can access the wisdom of the higher self. We're going there tonight. This is powerful astrology. This is a night to remember, and so I want to spend it with you. Make sure you sign up, come online or come in person. We'll also be doing our meditation at 5:45 before, so you can tune into that. Happy full moon. Happy full moon. Join the Great Divine Flow Yoga in Vista to help yourself harmonize and activate the amazing energy that is a part of this day. Sat Nam.